hardest thing to do is being able to produce it. You can sell it, that's great, but the best way to get to a market and get going in a market is being able to actually build it. So you can sell all day, but producing it becomes the hardest part, right? So I found that when I was a contractor, finding a good production manager that, you know, because you're busy in the summer, then you lay off in the winter, right? Well, or you pay the production manager to kind of sit around and twiddle his thumbs and play solitaire. So I found that it was always a good thing to do was to retain your production manager. And so what I did is I created a production company that solely focuses on production, all trades, anything and everything to do with production. And so that enabled smaller companies, medium-sized companies to have one source to go to. It also helps when you have numerous amounts of crews that maybe you don't keep them busy. So, you know, you build 2-3 roofs a week in your slow time, but then you scale to 15-20 a week in your busy time. Now you've got to go and find crews. Finding crews is always the hardest part, right? You guys, you know, send out somebody to go do a crew, and it comes up, you know, they do it crooked. They don't do their chalk lines or something like that. Well, you don't want that crew. That's the worst part of production. Worst part of owning a roofing company too, right? Now, guess what? We're tearing off that roof that we just did. You look like an idiot in all of it. Why are you tearing that roof off? You just put it on. You know, now you look like an idiot. You got egg on your face. So finding good crews is the hardest part. What we do is we do a background on the crews. We call companies that, you know, are using that crew or have used that crew and find out, you know, how are they on their repairs? How are they on, you know, fixing any kind of, you know, failed permits, anything like that? Are their final inspections doing good? How's their cleanups? We try to do all that for you so that you've got a great entry into a neighborhood or, you know, continuation into the neighborhood. And so that's kind of what I did to create this business. And what I found through my years of experience is waste is the biggest issue for all roofing companies, okay? Everybody orders, you know, insurance company pays 10% waste. Well, a lot of production managers I found just pay, you know, they just order 10% field waste. They don't consider the starter as part of the waste, the hip and ridge as part of the waste. Guess what? Insurance does. You know, when you go to supplement the insurance, they say, oh, starter's included in the waste, right? Well, yes and no. I mean, if it's a pretty good cut up roof, you're going to spend 10% in your field. But if it's just a normal gable roof, you're only going to spend 5%. So ordering it properly, making sure that you've got the right materials there, also saves your salespeople at 4 o'clock getting a telephone call saying, hey guys, I'm short on ridge, or I need another piece of drip edge. Now that guy's got to hustle his ass to ABC or Beacon or whatever supply house in rush hour instead of going to Lincoln Morgan's. Okay? So we have kind of combated that by working on building a straightforward ordering template. You know, we order correct waste, we order correct starter, correct ridge. You know, we have our waste factors that we've used. So we are always pretty close to on. I mean, it's production, it's construction. There's always going to be oopses, right? But we try to be a lot more accurate than most companies. And so in doing so, we actually take and we order the roof for you guys. So you guys would send us a material list saying, hey, we want, you know, Owens Corning, sand dune, this type of ridge, this color drip edge, this many vents, this many that. We then compile the work order for you. We submit and take a roof scope or a Eagle View and do the material takeoff. We then submit the work order to the supply house of choosing, and then we coordinate delivery and coordinate installation. All part of that. So we take over the production aspect of it for you guys. Makes it kind of nice and simple. Saves you guys the headache of having to worry about, did your production manager go out and get the ground water fluid? You know, in a storm, we're always going out drinking, right? Especially if they got money in their pocket. So we take and make it so that you guys have a dedicated production manager. But the nice thing is, if one of my production managers are sick, I've got another one that fills in. So you're never without a production manager. Also, we have a schedule coordinator. She actually takes the work orders, compiles them on a calendar, and makes it so that you guys can see when it's delivering and when it's installing. So that you guys can communicate with the homeowner, or we can communicate with the homeowner for you. So we've kind of taken over the whole logistics part of the build. What you got?
Quick question. It's not what I don't think, so it's curious. Place like Florida, you have a challenge for some guys finding licensed, properly insured roofers. Are you also reaching out and finding some of those roofing subs as part of your deal? Or
Yes.
Are you using their roofing sub or company both?
We use both. So if you guys need crews, we can find you crews, or we will communicate with your crews. Crews are always the hardest part. Once again, we do a background check on them, making sure that they're good crew. If you come to us and say you need crews. Obviously, if they're your crews, we don't need to do a background because you already feel that you've got a great setup, right? But say you come to me and say, Nathan, I've only got 2 crews, I need to build 5 a day because I've got that kind of volume. Can you help me find 3 crews? Sure, not a problem. We'll find you crews. We'll give you a list of crews. We'll find out, all the credentials that you guys want. Are they licensed? Do they have, a certain amount of workman's comp, certain amount of general liability, because maybe you're doing a commercial project and you need more general liability to cover yourself. We do all that legwork for you. It helps relieve the pressures of production for you guys. Our biggest thing is making it simple, okay? There's an old saying, keep it simple, stupid, right? We are the experts. I've done production for many, many companies. I've owned a roofing company. I understand production in and out. If there's anything that I don't know, I know who to call. We can find it out if there's something weird. I get guys that send me Eagle Views and says, hey, why is it like this? If I can't figure it out, I know who to call, but I've usually seen it. This year alone, we saw, first time ever, I saw 12 layers of shingles on one house. It had to be redecked, obviously, but, that's crazy. So we see a lot of weird things, right? And so do you guys. I'm sure you guys have been on some really crazy things. It's kind of one of those things, you guys are the experts owning a business, selling, creating work and making that money. Why not use an expert that knows everything about production to build it for you, to make it so that it's nice and simple, right? I feel that the hardest part of any business is being able to satisfy the customer. We make sure that our customers are always happy. Whether it's communication. Communication is a big breakdown, right? Salesperson goes out, he sells it. Well, his job's done, it's inked, right? All he has to go is meet the adjuster. A lot of times they don't worry about the back end stuff. We created a platform so that the salespeople can fill out and say, there's 4 turtle vents, there's 3 3-in-1s, 1 grown vent, solar, skylights. They can do it on a nice simple sheet. It automatically sends you an email of it as the owner, and it sends them an email of it. So it kind of acts as their turn-in, but it also makes it so that when it goes into production, it's a simplified form. There's no more trying to figure out if the 3 is a 5, the 5 is a 3, the 8, how the address is spelled. Our form actually does a geo search. So if you put in an address, it won't let you put the wrong address in, which is very important because the last thing you want to do is roof the neighbor's house. I'm sure somebody's done that, right? So, we're very particular about not having any kind of error. Now, obviously, there's going to be error, but we try to minimize that. Biggest thing that our clients enjoy is what we avoid. We make it so that it's stupid proof, okay? We don't want you guys going out there and feeling like you guys are alone. Because when you're new to a market, when you're coming into a market, or even if you've been in a market and you're trying to make sure that the codes are correct, making sure that you guys are ordering the right stuff for the specific code, making sure that the permits are done correctly. all that stuff, that's what we do. We make sure that you guys have all the knowledge that you need to build this properly. We want you guys to be successful in every way possible. Whether that's calling us because you are trying to sell a roof and the competitor is saying, I can do this shingle for this price. You know, your salesman's on the roof, they can call us. We'll tell them, hey, you know, your price point's this. Saves the salesperson a lot of headache when, or if they're on the roof, for instance, and they send you a picture and say, hey, what is this vent cap? I don't know. You can send it right to us and we can tell you. It's kind of those type of things that we do to help our clients. Big thing about us, we're always there. A lot of production managers go home at 5 o'clock, 4 o'clock, right? They go to the bar, they go away, they turn off their phone, or their cell phone's not to the salespeople. We don't shut our phones off at all. We're open 24/7. Now obviously, don't call us at 1 o'clock in the morning just to ask us what kind of mess it is, right? But for, you know, anything pretty much common, we get calls at 8, 9 o'clock at night. Hey, you know, gonna be heavy frost tonight in certain markets. Can we start a little late in the morning? Sure, not a problem. Or, hey, it's supposed to snow, what are we doing? You know, those type of things, we're always there to help. Our calendar's up to date real time. It's always available to all of our clients. So it's real simple. You look at it, it tells you instantly, hey, there's, you know, this change has happened. It also sends an email to you anytime there's a change so that you're updated consistently. I always hated when I owned a roofing company that there was no communication. You know, you get a call from a customer, they're heated up, they're pissed off. Hey, why isn't my roof going on today? Now I gotta dig, find out what's going on, right? Now you've got one specific spot to look. CRMs, you gotta dig around. This is nice and simple. We just go to one spot, everything's there. It doesn't work with your CRM, but it's a nice, easy spot for your salespeople to be able to go look and say, hey, your roof is actually going on Friday. This is when it's gonna be delivered. It makes it nice and simple, because the last thing you wanna be able to, not be able to do is tell your customer when it's gonna happen. Because that's all they care about. You've signed them, it's adjusted. When's my roof happening now? And all of a sudden it's in a hurry. Before you got there, it wasn't a hurry for them. They weren't calling you, you knocked the door. Now it's a hurry. They want the roof done, right? Contractors prefer working with us. Roofers, they love us. Why? We give them consistent work. We're one point of contact. So you call us, we contact the crew. There's no more you guys having to find the crew, bugging them, trying to find out where they are. Call us, we do that for you. One point of contact. Makes it nice and simple. Takes away all the headaches of, you know, okay, which gutter crew's going there, which roofer's going there, which cider's going there, who's my window guy, who's my painter. Call us. We're everything. Makes it simple for most roofing companies to not have that headache. Now I understand a lot of you guys probably have your own production manager, right? Raise your hands. How many of you have your own production manager? Okay? So we also offer a service, just as, since there's some of you in here, that we can do a production tune-up for you. So maybe your production manager is great and he does everything that you need, but maybe he's a little bit unorganized. Or maybe he's overwhelmed and he doesn't have enough time in his day to handle the volume that you have. We can also supplement his time. You know, maybe he doesn't keep track of all the trades. Maybe he has a hard time keeping up with the trades. That's where we come in as well. It's not an all or none. It's a help or all. So we're here to help you guys make it so that you guys can build faster, get to market, and sell more without the headache of finding a production manager or, you know, getting a hold of your production manager and saying, hey, why isn't this done? Man, I'm too busy. I've got, you know, a stack of files this tall. I'll get to it when I get to it. So that's where we can also come in, okay? Our work orders are consistent. We work very, very diligently to make our work orders the same every single time. I don't know what that's all about. Anybody know?
Just cancel out.
roof, starter, everything's the same. You're good? Okay? So our work orders are always the same. Obviously, you can't see them anymore, but they're always the same. Makes it nice and simple. For the salesperson, for the roofers, roofers love simple communication. They want to see, how much am I getting paid? That's really all they care about. How much am I getting paid on this job? But if I always give them a work order saying, here's the color of the material, here's how much of the material there is, here's all the pipes, all the cans of paint, all the caulk, everything, so that they also kind of do a secondary check on top of what your salespeople do, right? Because your salespeople are going out, or your project managers are going out to verify the material prior to delivery, I hope. Okay? This is a secondary so that the crew can go and say, hey, yes, all that material's here, I'm good to start. Or if they get there, your salesperson or the project manager looked at it last night, somebody overnight came and stole the material, they call you, hey, half that material's gone. There's an empty pallet here. They're not calling you, they're calling us. Then we have to call you. So we become the bad guy, right? We're calling you saying, hey guys, there's no material at this job. We need to call the police, we need to file a police report, okay? That's what we do for you guys. Communication, internet, we use, all of our programs are all 100% cloud-based. Nothing's paper with us. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. It's hard as hell to explain that to some contractors because they're still in the old school. Paper contracts, stacks of files this tall, right? We can help you get more digitized. We can help you become more efficient by being digitized. It makes it so that when your salesperson's in the field or the owner of the company wants to be on a vacation on a beach somewhere, somebody calls him, he can still look at his stuff on an iPad or an iPhone or an Android, okay? Everything we do is real time. We don't mess around and have to upload stuff and send you stuff. Everything's real time, so you can see everything at all times. You guys can always see how we are. We're somebody that we keep track of our performance internally, but you can see our stuff real time. Once again, I keep saying that, I apologize. Real time, we have a 96-hour return rate. From the time you turn the job in to the time it gets to the supply house, work order ready, the supply house that you're choosing is 96 hours. Don't know how your production manager does, but 96 hours seems to be a really good turnaround. We always have all the work orders 100% complete by then, okay? Here's the best part. If we screw up, we say, you send us an order, 38 squares. We order 39, the roof needed 45. We eat the delivery cost to go and get that material. And we don't ask you to do it. We send a crew or we send a carrier to do it. It's not something we call your salesperson and say, hey, we screwed up, go get the material. Now, if your salesperson wants to make an extra $100, we're more than happy to credit you $100 for your salesperson to go get it. But we do it, and it's our cost because we screwed up. Most production managers, oh man, I screwed up, I'm sorry, go get this. That's not something we do. We take responsibility for under ordering incorrectly because of our error. Risk control. We make sure that all of our projects have the correct product. Okay? We let the crew know, hey, it's 2-story, 9-12. Make sure you're harnessed. We put notes on there telling us to be harnessed. Therefore, if OSHA comes, there was a report this morning about OSHA that I posted on Facebook. When OSHA comes, you have a dedicated work order that says, hey, make sure you're OSHA compliant. You're directing them to be OSHA compliant. That will help in your service or your time to, if OSHA ever pops you for a warrant or, God forbid, an actual fine, it will help you in combating that. Hey, I gave them direction. I told them that I wanted them to be OSHA compliant. Here is the form that says you are responsible to be OSHA compliant. That helps. I can't tell you that the OSHA guy is going to say, oh yeah, that's all it takes. Thank you so much. Can't say that. But at least you're combating that, okay? Our service is very, very inexpensive, okay? We charge per the job. We don't charge per square feet or anything like that. For a normal residential roof, if it's a 1 day with no mid-roof, it's $175 a house, up to 50 squares. Okay? That fee is for us to do the material takeoff, material order, and coordinate the crew. And we give a free roof scope with that. No more having to order legal fees. Everything is free. That includes the roof scope to you guys, okay? We are very, very, very close to making it so that you guys can send us a work order from some of the CRMs. Just making it, just push a button and it automatically translates, okay? That's something that's coming this year, hopefully. We're working on that. But the biggest thing that we want to do is we want you guys to understand we're here to help. We're not here to, gouge you. Some guys want to charge a percentage. That's not us. We're not here to, charge you thousands and thousands of dollars to do nothing. We want you guys to make sure that you guys are making money. It can cost against the job real easily. At $175, it's very, very cheap. What's your question?
So if you use your crews, who's paying the crew?
You. Okay? They become your crew. So they're going to be insured and everything would be under your company name. We would have the invoice from the crew. We would review it against what was actually there. Say, for instance, we sent out 40 squares of material and you had to return 4 bundles. We would deduct that, make sure that it's right before you get the invoice, okay? Because the last thing you want to do is pay for material that they didn't install, okay? But we review the invoice, we send it to you, you get the crew invoice, and you're responsible for it. What you got?
Are you checking certs on the crews?
Yes, we are.
There's a lot of, used to be a lot of whiteout
Yes.
with different names put over.
Yes.
Someone comes into a prime contract with a cert that looks legit.
Sure.
It's not, especially here in Florida, you gotta have all of it.
Of course, and
Which is separate from workers' comp in other states, got a lot of issues with certs being, sometimes fake.
yeah, so what we do is, I have one of the office ladies every month, she calls and verifies that the insurance is still good, okay? It's a real quick phone call, something nice and simple, but it's something that most contractors don't even think about. Like he said, whiteout, Adobe Acrobat, you can actually go in there, just delete it and redo it. I had 2 contractors, two guys do it this year. They sent me an invalid insurance certificate. We caught it before we even turned it into the company. So we never even used it because we do the background check. It saves you guys a lot of headache because that is one of the biggest risks for anybody. Somebody falls off the roof, somebody gets hurt, that certificate is invalid because who they're suing.
The roof report that you order, is it illegal to you, or is it a different company? Can it be uploaded into Xactimate?
It can be uploaded into Xactimate. It's called Roof Scope. Yep. It does you can upload it into Xactimate. The reason I like Roof Scope better, one, it's a lot more accurate. I found that when I've been running material, when we're ordering, we order the same exact waste both ways, 5%. We don't run for the material on over half those. It's that much difference. And it's a 2-page report compared to a 9-page. It's condensed, very nice and simple. It's 2 pages, real simple. We are a member of the NRCA, so it gives us a little bit more credibility. Our big thing is we just want you guys to succeed. If we succeed, you succeed. If you succeed, we succeed. Any questions? I'd love to have some more questions. I'm out of Colorado. We work in any state. Right now we're working in 15 markets. Getting ready to stop some because it's cold. But, I've got a lot of crews here out in Florida already that are, ready to go. So, we're doing some work and, I can get a lot more crews. I found a kind of a secret sauce to get crews. We post some ads and we get crews like that. Unfortunately, some of them don't shake out, but when you do the background check, you find out that, hey, it really sucks, and that's why he's looking for work. And, when you go into a storm and, it's really busy and all of a sudden, you know, you find this guy and he's not busy, he can do a roof tomorrow. Why can he do a roof tomorrow if he's so good and it's so busy? So doing that little bit of background check, it takes a little bit of time, but God, it's worth it. Because the last thing I wanna do is have a guy go and, you know, screw up the roof really bad. Looks bad on me, looks bad on you. You know, we're all about service. You know, if we get a customer that's happy, that makes everybody happy. Because it's gonna mean you're gonna call me again for another roof.
Are there any long-term contracts with you or?
No contract. You know, we have a consulting agreement, obviously. We're a consultant, which makes it nice because it's a write-off for you guys. You're not using this as a 1099. We're actually a consultant, so you guys can write off the 100% amount. Like a 1099, you can write it off, but it's a different category. So as a consultant, it's more of a training type thing. My CPA said it was a little bit better for this. So yeah, nothing, no long term. We do ask for, everything's paid in advance so that we're not chasing guys for money. Like you guys, you know, you hate chasing people for money, so do we. So it's a paid in advance service, but you know, we're all about customer service. We're here to make you guys a lot of money. We're not here to take money. What other questions do you guys got? Nothing? Okay, guys. Well, thank you so much for having me. It was very nice talking to you.